All right, so now that you have seen that what we will be building in the whole Good News app, let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and launch Xcode and going to create a single view application. So let's go ahead and do that. You can obviously save your application anywhere you like. Select single view app, create next. I'm going to call it Good News, and currently I'm just going to save it on the desktop, but then later on I will move it. You can save it anywhere that you like. Let's go ahead and do that. Create. And there we go. So this is our application. Now, it's a good idea to start arranging your controllers and the code from the very beginning. So all the controllers are going to live inside a folder called controllers. So let's go ahead and create controllers. We don't really need this view controller default, so we can simply go ahead and delete that. There we go. And let's go to the storyboard and see what is actually going on in storyboard. Since we have to display a list, meaning that we will have a table view controller and it will be displaying all the news item, we don't really need a view controller. We can simply use a table view controller. So let's go ahead and remove that and go ahead and search for a table view controller. Oh, all right, here we go. Table view controller. I'm also going to add a navigation controller so that we can have a nice title for our table view controller. You can simply select the table view controller, go to editor, and go to embed in and embed the navigation controller. And there we go. We also want to set the navigation controller as our initial controller. So let's go over here in the identity inspector and then select is initial view controller. So you can see this arrow sign, which is indicating that when we run the app, this is going to be the first controller that we are going to see, and that's fine. Let's go ahead and build the app right now. All right. Okay, so now if I run the app, you will see that we can see our view controller being displayed. So let's go ahead and click the play button so that it can run the application. Obviously, we are not really displaying anything right now. So all you're going to see is a table view controller. You can swipe up and down and all that, but it's not really going to display anything. So what we want to do is at least we want to style it up. So let's go ahead and see how we can do that. The best way to style is to use the UI appearance APIs. And the reason that you have to use the or want to use the UI appearance APIs is that it will style for your whole app. So you're not saying that, oh, I want one navigation item to be styled as blue. No, you're saying that your whole application navigation bar will be styled to blue. All right. I'm going to go ahead and add a new folder and I'm going to call it managers. And inside the managers, I am going to add a new file and I will call this a theme manager. Now, why am I doing that? I'm just trying to do that so that our code is a little bit more organized. Import UIKit, theme manager. And inside the theme manager, I will have one simple function which will be called setup. And inside that function, we are going to go ahead and set up a theme. By theme, I mean that we are going to start coloring up or giving certain styles to our different controls that are going to be displayed. Let's start with a navigation bar. So UI navigation bar dot appearance dot bar tint color, or we can say, yeah, bar tint color. And just to see if it's working, let's go ahead and give it some sort of a color. Let's say blue. All right. Now we need to call this setup function, which is inside theme manager, and we want to call it so that the theme is set up before our application is basically launched. So what we want to do is we want to set up over here in the app delegate. So I'm going to go over here in did finish launching with option, and I'm going to say theme manager.setup. Let's go ahead and build that, and let's go ahead and run it. Okay, there we go. You can see that this is set up as blue. That's great. Let's go ahead and set up some other things also. So every time we need to change the appearance of any of the controls, we can simply go to the theme manager setup function and do that over there. All right. Another thing that I want to do is right now our color, you can see, is a little bit weird. I mean, we want to make it much better. So I'm going to go ahead and use a different color over here. All right. So I already have a color defined, so I can simply use that. Here we go. Let's go ahead and build that. You can use any color that you want. This is a color that I found on the web, and I like that color, but you might have a different taste, so you can use a different color. Let's go ahead and run it and see that our navigation bar now is to the new color that we're going to be using. There we go. All right. Another thing that I want to do is I definitely want to have some sort of a title for my page or for my view. I can set the title by simply clicking on the title over here and setting up the title. So I'm just going to call it Good News. Now let's go ahead and run it again to see our title. It's always a good idea to do these things in a very small step so you can see the progress that you're making. We can definitely see our title being displayed. Now, one of the things that I would really like to do is I want to make the title to be white. And I also want the title to be a much larger title, making sure that it is quite visible. Now, in order to do the large titles, what I will do first is I will add a new file, and I will call that particular file the controller name. So whatever you want to do with the controller. So I'm just going to call this, let's say, select the Swift file, and I can call it anything I want. So I'm going to say news headlines table view controller. What we want to do is we want to set up a large titles. And you're going to see that how the large titles are different from the current title that we have. So news headlines table view controller, which is going to be inheriting from a table view controller. We will have a view.load over here and then super.view.load. That's fine. And we want to enable the large title. So once again, I'm going to create a small function. I'm going to call this setup UI. And inside that function, I'm going to go ahead and set up some of the things. And one of those things will be that I do prefer large titles. So I can say self.navigation controller.navigation bar.prefers large titles equals to true. Large title is something that was introduced recently, and it actually brings out the not the content, but I would say the headline of that particular content. So you're going to see that how it looks like, and it really looks nice if you're running it on the iPhone X or iPhone XR or XS and Max and all those devices. It really looks nice. We have created a new class called News Headlines Table View Controller. We want to make sure that our controller on the storyboard knows about it. So let's go ahead, select the controller, and make sure that the class right over here is a News Headlines Table View Controller. Now let's go ahead and run it so that we will be able to see our large titles being displayed. There we go. It actually looks nicer. You can see that, right? And one thing obviously is that we don't really want this to be a black color. We want it to be white. So let's go ahead and do that. Once again, we're going to jump into our theme manager because that is where we are setting all the themes. And we are going to set up the color for our large title. So we're going to start with UI navigation bar.appearance.large title text attributes equals to, and this will be a dictionary, and the key of the dictionary is ns attributed string dot key dot foreground color, and now you can set whatever color you want, which in this case is white. There we go. All right, and let's go ahead and run this again so that you can see the effect, and you will see that the white definitely looks really nice. One other thing that I want to do is I want to change this status bar, this is also black or dark, to white. Since our navigation bar background color or the bar tint color is a little bit on the dark side, I want to change this so that it looks nicer. So let's go ahead and do that. There are a couple of things you need to do. First, go ahead and select the Good News project. And if you scroll down, you will see the status bar style, which is set to default. Let's go ahead and set it to light. But that alone is not really going to change anything. What we want to do is we want to add another key, all right? And that key has to be added in the info.plist file. So let me jump into info.plist file. And right at the root, information plist, I'm going to add one more key. And the value in this case, you'll see, is view controller base status bar appearance. And we're going to set it to no. And let's go ahead and run it. And once it runs, you can see that now your status bar is white and it looks pretty nice. All right. And that's pretty much it. That's all the style that we're going to make right at this moment. We will be adding more styles as we move along during the course. You will see that we will be adding much more styles. Now, right now, you can see that our table view is currently nothing. And one other thing you will notice, let me actually swipe up. Yeah, when I swipe up, when it swipes up, you can see that it is the main title, which is good news, is displaying in black color. So I also want to change that, because once you start swiping through your elements, the big one, the preferred, the large title, changes automatically into a normal size title. And right now we have only configured the appearance of the large title, but you can see that the small title still appears as black. So let's go ahead and change that also. Since we are here, we can definitely do that. Let's go back. And into our theme manager, you can see that in our theme manager, we are changing the large title text attributes. You can guess that what will be the name of the normal title text attribute, and it will be simply title text attribute. So let's go ahead and change that to title text attribute also. Build that. Let's go ahead and run it again. And you will be able to see that now the large title text attribute is white. But if I swipe up, here we go. Hard to see sometimes, but here we go. But now the main title or the normal title is also good news, which is in white color. Perfect, right? Right now you can also see that our table view doesn't really display anything, and that's fine. I mean, we're just getting started, but sometimes it's a good idea to display something in your table view just to give you an idea of how it will look like when we actually put the actual items in there. For that, we will have to create a table view cell. All right, so in the next lecture, I'm going to show you that how you can get started with creating a table view cell. And after that, you're also going to learn how to create a self-sizing cell, which means it is going to size itself automatically based on the content of the cells and the text. So stay tuned for that.